We're going to test this now. Now we're back and we're doing good. Hi everyone. The stock market had another strong session overall, with the S&P 500 hitting new all-time highs and the Russell 2000 hitting new all-time highs. However, as you can see in the S&P 500, and as you can also see in the Nasdaq, which also hit new 52-week highs and also hit new 13-year highs, volume was below average, so there wasn't a lot of oomph behind the move. But the bottom line is, once again, volume doesn't matter, and as long as we're seeing the Nasdaq lead on the relative strength basis, as you can see short term down here, and as long as I can see the Russell 2000 moving higher on a short term basis relative strength wise, I'm okay with the move with or without volume. So overall, everything is good and solid, and there is no need to try to top call here. Let all the professionals and all the smart people that are on the television continue to try to top call. We do have a couple of positions to get rid of tonight. CYTK is closing lower by 4.92%. Very weak relative strength lately. Huge volume today. As you can see here, it is closing below the 20-day moving average and the recent low below the 20-day moving average, 117 at 116. And on heavier volume, it would be a 75% sell if it would have been here, to 100% sell if that's where you got long. But we're long from the 28th back here. We still have some small gains, so it's only going to be a 50% sell. For one reason, it'd be 75% if we didn't still have gains, and it's only going to be 50% because it's still above the 50-day moving average. So there's two things in its favor. Also, Facebook, oddly enough, has failed immediately after 2 days. You can see here it's closing below the low of the day. However, it's still above the uptrending 10 and reversing back up trending 20-day moving average. So I'm going to go ahead and use the 10-day moving average, the final cut loss on this. So I'll be getting rid of 75% and will be more than happy to add more if it can get above the recent highs here of 28.97. So we'll close at 29, for instance, will get me long again Facebook. And so, speaking of getting long something, AMBA is breaking out of a base January to March on top of a base March to May signal. And really how I'm kind of looking at this current base is a breakout above that line right there. And as you can see, we get a breakout today above the downtrending line. It's also a cup with handle pattern, cup with a handle, breakout on strong volume. Everything looks good. The low of day can be your final cut loss. You can also use the 50-day moving average if you have a higher risk tolerance. Interesting moves today, outside in DBC, the commodity index. After breaking down and looking like it wanted to break wide open, one of the biggest tells for me is if you continue on a big break move like that, or if that ends up being a shakeout low. And it appears to be a shakeout low, as we have DBC producing a pocket pivot point buy signal on strong volume. MACD TSV has turned back up. Relative strength line short term, you can see it, and it's not showing any kind of negative divergence, so DBC could be bouncing here. And then on the very impressive side, how about Malaysia? What an amazing gross domestic product report. Malaysia is a clear leader. If you would have bought the 50-day moving average recent breakout, you now have a solid 12% gain in Malaysia. Quite an impressive move in an ETF nonetheless. And underneath also WLK retaking the 50-day moving average. That was nice. Look at InvenSense off the lows. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful move off the lows. Look at the recent support that it gets around that area. December, June, July, and then again in May in 2013. So that looks like a pretty strong floor, and we've got some huge accumulation off that bottom. Also, NSM pocket pivot point buy signal off the 50-day moving average. C and back look like that they want to uptrend the banks higher. Goldman Sachs also and JP Morgan holding in there. Look at lock right off the lows. Wonderful, wonderful movement in this IPO. Would love to see it to get a little bit higher, form then a handle, and then break out. As you can see here on an arithmetic, it's still way, way, way in the low end of its most recent current base that it is forming. YY, nice breakout of a base on base signal. Needed to probably consolidate, go sideways in a short stroke pattern for 5 days. Then it would be nice to do. And also Quicksilver, nice breakout today, and a stock that I have a personal interest in just because I like the products, bottom line. But besides that, don't have any other interests. And also, whenever we weren't making our videos, I want to point out that copper, big move off the low. And what's significant about that is that copper, to me, kind of basically tells you like Copper is in demand around the world. Copper is needed in everything that we make. So if copper is strong, that kind of tells me that maybe the underlying conditions for a rally is there, with the market being strong. But we'll see how it all turns out. CYTK 50% sell at Facebook 75% and AMBA 2% and 2%.